All right, week 10, day 1. So I was an idiot today, if I'm being honest. For some reason, I don't know, just knowing that we had oral exams this week, I was not thinking that we had class, even though I knew that we were gonna try to cover new content this week. So missed class today, but still watched the video and still reviewed the PowerPoint. So hopefully I'm not too behind on Wednesday. But still went to the gym. So today was my 5x5 again. So I had 5x5 barbell squat, 5x5 barbell bench, 5x5 barbell row. And then after reviewing and watching the video and then reviewing the PowerPoint after I realized that I missed class, I know that they went over endurance training. So with endurance training, there's the principles of training, which is, I'm just gonna kind of honestly follow along a little bit with the PowerPoint here. 2 key factors, which are overload and our specificity. The overload principles, progressive overload. So progressive overload over time is going to keep you kind of on a steady slope of increase rather than having you just get to a certain point and plateau and not increase your overload to try to increase your muscle gain or your endurance training or whatever it is that you're training for, which it can be manipulated again with frequency, intensity, and duration. Obviously, specificity. So exercise training is specific to the muscles involved, activity, fiber types recruited, energy systems involved, velocity of contraction, and the type of contraction. So those are all other things that you can manipulate while you're endurance or resistance training. Resistance training is going to be something that's going to increase more of like the contractile protein content, so your myosin and actin heads. Endurance training is going to increase your mitochondrial content, so it'll have mitochondrial biogenesis or an increase in mitochondria in that given area, so you have more energy production as well as a growth factor to your capillary beds. So your capillary beds will also expand, so you get more nutrients to that working muscle. Endurance training is also key to VO2 max and your actual increasing of your VO2 max. It will increase your VO2 max far more than, I would say far more, but it'll increase your VO2 max a little bit more than resistance training will, depending on how you're resistance training. Let's see, what else did they go over? So I know we're going to bring back up fixed equation and our cardiac output equation again when we go back into the VO2 max. I know that you probably didn't quite get into that for this lecture. So I'll go back in and go into a little bit more depth when it comes to that. As far as going over like specificity and endurance training, obviously, again, the frequency, the intensity, and duration are all things that we can manipulate with progressive overload. So if I was going to take like an athlete and I wanted to increase their VO2 max, I would start them out with, running like sprints and doing plyometrics and HIIT style workouts and really anything that's going to try to like tax their endurance system. So that way that our bodies send that kind of alarm signal and realize, hey, we don't have enough mitochondria in this area or enough blood flow. So that's going to elicit that response to that specificity of that training, which will then cause our bodies to adapt to it. Therefore, we will have more mitochondria that will be developed, as well as more capillary beds that will be expanded so we can get better nutrients to the muscle.